Hey crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion, and today we're taking a detour from usual foundation rows and leveling up with something that's both stretchy and structured. An I-cord foundation row. That's right, no more flimsy chains or too tight first rows messing up your project. We're starting strong with a clean, tubular I-cord base that looks polished and works like a charm. Quick question. Have you ever struggled with a foundation chain that was either too loose or too tight? If so, you're in the right place. If not, well, you might just fall in love with this technique anyway. All right, let's do a silly check-in. Drop your foundation row struggles in the comments. 1, chains. No problem. I was born for this. 2, let's just say I avoid projects that start with a chain. Or 3, I've frogged an entire project because the first row was a disaster. No judgment here. I've been there, but after today, you might never want to use a standard foundation chain again. So what are you going to learn today? AKA the good stuff. How to crochet an I-cord without knitting, turning that I-cord into a solid foundation row, and how to transition from the I-cord to the regular crochet stitches. This technique works especially well for things like bags, straps, structured garments, and even amigurumi. I always struggle with that word. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. In some ways, I actually kind of think that the I-cord is almost easier than, like, say, the single foundation or the double crochet foundation, any of those foundation rows. This is actually very, very easy to do. So, all right, so let's get started. So I'm actually going to take one, you're going to take it and double it up, kind of, I guess you could say. You want to have a nice long end, and then you're going to take and you're going to put your knot at the end of that long tail, okay? So if you're doing like a blanket, you're going to have to put a really, really long tail because you're going to use both ends to do your I-cord. So in the middle of that long length, we're going to go ahead and do a slip knot. And then on the end that is the loose end, that's what we're going to be using for in the front. So this one right here goes to my yarn, and then this one is the one that is attached to my, well, I guess it's not technically attached to anything, but it's got the loose end to it. All right, here we go. So we're going to take that thread that has the end to it. We're going to go across from the front to the back. We're just going to loop it around our hook. I'm going to kind of hold it there in place for just a second, and now we're going to take my working yarn, the one that is attached to the ball of yarn, and we're just going to yarn over and pull through. Well, maybe. All right, let's do that again. So the end, the yarn, the piece that's got the end to it, we're going to wrap it around the hook from the front to the back. Going to hold it in place, maybe. And then I'm going to take my working yarn, going to yarn over, pull through those loops. Okay. The end piece, front to back, hold it in place, take your working yarn, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Now, I think I did that too loose, so we're going to kind of learn some tips and tricks together here. Yarn over from front to back, yarn over, pull that through those 2 loops. Front to back, yarn over, pull through 2. Front to back, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, obviously, you can do it too loose or too tight, so you will need to watch your tension, but I don't think that you're going to need to watch it near as much as you do when you're doing that chain foundation. So as you can see, I'm just having a ball with this, but let me slow it down again. We're going to go from front to back, yarn over with the working yarn, pull it through 2. Front to back, yarn over with the working yarn, pull through 2. I'm telling you, I fell in love with this as well. So I kind of go back and forth depending on how I want my work to look. You can see that there is a braid on both sides, but I kind of find that it kind of does a little weird loopy thing on the end there on occasion. So it depends on how you want your work to look. If you want it to be more even, then I would go with the single crochet foundation row. If you're okay with the occasional blunder, then this is your way to go. Especially if you're working on both sides of your foundation row. So I'm going to keep going here for just a little bit because I'm weird. I like to just do a weird thing like this. It's kind of like the kid that always does the chain because it's fun. I kind of like this. It's fun. Yep. All right. So how we're going to address going into working into it. So we're going to just let's do a double crochet. So I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to turn my work, and obviously with a double crochet we're not going to work in that first stitch, but we're going to go to the next stitch, unless you want to do a standing stitch. We could do that too. So, and then you just keep on going like that. Yeah, so you work under both of those V's right there, just like you would a normal stitch, and that's what it looks like when you work into it. You still have a small V on the other side, so it's really quite lovely. So I guess this really does depend on what kind of finished look you want. Now, let's go ahead and do a standing stitch. That ought to be fun, right? All right, so for the standing stitch, we're just going to work right into that first stitch. Oh, that's not the first stitch. Let's work into that first stitch. Ooh, that's kind of tight. So we're going to do a single crochet, then we're going to work into that vertical bar, another single crochet. Hey, that worked. That looks good. It was a little tight, so that first, I would say that first stitch is a little tight. But yeah, that looks good. That really does look good, because on the other side, you have that nice little braid. I would have to say though, if you want it to not be so difficult to insert your hook, just loosen up on that tension, because I wasn't very loose on mine, and I'm having a little bit of difficulties inserting my hook into that stitch. But there you go. Oh yeah, that looks nice. So that'll give you a nice clean finish. All right, why you're gonna love this technique. So it's sturdier than a foundation chain, so it's no more floppy edges. It's stretchy yet structured, perfect for projects that need a little give but not too much. It looks polished and professional because aesthetic matters. Works great for bags, straps, edges that need extra durability. So did this blow your mind? I know that it did me when I first learned it, but for you, I would say if it blowed your mind, let's just go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and tap that bell because you know what's coming next. Oh, it's a secret. I'm working on a project, so you'll want to stay tuned. All right, tell me, where would you use an I-cord foundation row? A bag, a sweater, something completely unexpected? Drop your ideas below. And that's how you start strong with an I-cord that means business. Until next time, happy crocheting.